Hey folks, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Plague Inc. Evolved custom scenarios. Today we're going to try out a scenario called Population X 140, leading to a world population of over 1 trillion people. I'm not sure how this is actually going to impact the game, if at all. I don't remember the exact technical term, but as far as like how diseases grow in dense populations, there comes a point where it almost doesn't matter how many people are in that group, whether it's 10 million or a billion people. In theory, as long as they all have enough of a close proximity, the disease model kind of grows at a similar-ish rate, no matter what. The big thing I'm worried about is, with 1 trillion people, are we going to see Mega Brutal give us a massive genetic drift effect or not? We'll find out. Let's go and play with the bacteria. Metabolic Jump Darwinist. I had somebody recently popping into my Discord to remind me that Aquasite is not, by the way, the S-tier pick when it comes to travel genes. Technically, that would either be Terracite or more likely Native Biome. I tend to go for Aquasite anyway. I know it's not necessarily optimal. It's just the one that I tend to prefer, but you could certainly go for something else and that would be fine. Extremophile and Symptostasis are fine. Mega Brutal Infection Condition, sure, let's give it a go. Welcome to the 1 trillion people mod. Here, each country's population misspelled is inflated to a total of 1 trillion people. Can you take them all out? All right, well, we'll go ahead and start off in Saudi Arabia, as we often do. So, what do we have for transmissions? Normal symptoms, normal abilities, normal. Okay, I didn't expect there to be anything different there. What's interesting is if we take a look here, yep, that's over 1 trillion people on this planet, all right? So we might get an absolute ton of DNA just by virtue of the fact that we're going to infect a ton of people, or it may actually be coded based on like a percentage of the population. I really don't remember for sure how that works, because I don't dive under the hood into Plague Inc. all that often to take a look at some of the coding. So I don't remember exactly how we generate some of these points and what determines that. It might be that based on numbers, every, 10 million people, something along those lines, that you get some extra DNA. It also could just be a percentage. If it's a percentage, it doesn't matter that we have 1 trillion people. It won't change the way we play the game at all. But if it isn't a percentage and it's actually a rough number value, well, then we might get an absolute ton of DNA. We might be rolling in thousands upon thousands of points. I don't know that we can expect to be getting like 140 times the DNA points. That would feel a little excessive, but I mean, it'd be interesting if that were the case, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Yes, it would indeed. I'd like to go for that air transmission now. Let's go ahead and pick that up so we can start speeding up in Saudi Arabia. Usually by the time you got 20,000 people infected, we're a little bit further along the bar this time, but that's fine. That's to be expected. Again, 140 times the population. Pneumonia goes for free. That's fine. I mean, I usually go for pneumonia fairly early on anyway, so I don't mind that one little bit. Let's go ahead and pick up some water transmission just to have a chance of getting onto some boats. We've already got 30, 40, some million people infected in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, this is going to be crazy. We're going to see some numbers the likes of which we ain't never seen before. Never seen before, or ever will again. We'll go for the air transmission once again. Let's go for the water transmission, and then if we want to go for extreme bioaerosol, we certainly could, though I am concerned about getting things like drug resistance before it becomes absolutely insane. I'm noticing a pretty hefty amount of DNA going into my pocket, which makes me think the percentage theory is definitely not correct. So it certainly seems like, based on the number of people being infected, that is going to be what ultimately determines whether or not we are going to get a lot of DNA. Interesting. Very good to know. That definitely makes me think that there's going to be a serious problem when it comes to the genetic drift. It also greatly reduces the impact of each individual bubble, where we can get like 2, 3, sometimes 4 DNA. Well, that doesn't mean as much in the scheme of things when you're able to get many, many hundreds in a pretty short time period. So that is interesting. Let's go for the hypersensitivity. I'll even pick up the paralysis a little bit early, just to make me a little bit easier to get to things like coma if I want to do that. We might want to get ourselves some rural transmission going since we are struggling a little bit in Russia still, and then work toward that cold resistance level 2. I'm mostly just trying to get things before the genetic drift could potentially screw me over. That's kind of my big concern right now, because I could definitely see that happening. I'm going to go ahead and grab livestock level 2, really trying to speed this up. So what are we missing right now as far as islands? We're missing some in the southeast, we're missing the Caribbean, we're missing Greenland, but we have access to literally everything. It's going to come down to, can we get from Russia to Greenland or Norway to Greenland in a relatively quick fashion? If I went for some bird transmission, that would probably speed things up a little bit. How are we looking as far as genetic drift? So far, coma has not increased in cost, like, at all, which is interesting. So there may be a little bit of a grace period going on for us right now, which would be interesting. Birds are doing what they're supposed to do. They're infecting all these neighboring countries for free. Got into the Caribbean, so that's looking good. Got into the Philippines, that's good, and Indonesia. So as usual, it all comes down to the gosh dang same thing it's always come down to. Can you get into the freaking green of the land? We could speed this up a little bit by going for a level of bacterial resilience. DNA is not the problem for me right now. Like, we're fine on that front. I'm going to grab 2 levels of genetic hardening, 1 more level. You know what? All the levels of bacterial resilience. I think we're going to get plenty more DNA. We haven't even hit critical mass in China yet, so I'm going to get so much points, it's kind of insane. We're getting into Norway. Good. Can we please get a boat out into Greenland? Look how much DNA I've got to work with. How's the cost? Starting to go up now. This is the point where we're starting to see an impact. Might want to go ahead and pick up the necrosis because it could become prohibitively expensive pretty soon. Bit risky, but I will pick it up, plus the coma. That means I have a lot more severity all of a sudden, so I'm hoping this does not come back to bite me. There's always a chance that it will, but we're kind of hitting the maximum point here in Russia, so our chance of getting a boat out there is relatively good. Was not expecting to get total organ failure for free just now. At this point, I think that we're either going to get it in the next few seconds or we're not. And there's really not a lot that I can do about it. So I'm going to go ahead and just move toward a few things like insanity, slow down some cures. But we're going to see what happens here. Hello, is that going to go? No, I went to Canada. Frick you, Canada. Frick you, Canada. I thought that was it for a moment there. I really did. That's the one, though. We got into Greenland. All right, still missing Morocco. Might want to go for a level of heat resistance. We're still getting some DNA, but it's not going to be nearly as much all of a sudden. So necrosis is kind of have to do all the heavy lifting here. I'm kind of wondering if we're still going to get an absolute ton of DNA just by virtue of killing a lot of people. Notice again, it's not like we're getting 140 times the points. So even though the population has gone up dramatically, like, oh, are we killing too fast here in Morocco? We're starting to pick it back up. We're okay. Even though we are having a huge number of people, like, there's clearly a different relationship. It's not directly linear as far as the relationship of killing people to getting DNA, infecting people to get DNA. It's pretty good, but it's not that. That's not that linear. Otherwise, we'd be just rolling in tons of points here. So there's some sort of an equation going on. I don't really know what it is. I don't really care to know, I suppose. At the end of the day, the point is, by following the normal strategy, it does work. And now we've infected absolutely everybody. The only people left are pretty much in Greenland and maybe a little bit in like Morocco, Peru. Okay, like, there's a lot of places that still have a few people holding on. I guess that makes sense when you got a trillion people. It's going to take a while to weed out the rest of them. Anything I can pick up that will speed this up a little bit? Systemic infection. There's a difference. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. Systematic, by the way, it suggests, I guess, that it's going to progress like sequentially, you know, systematically approaching infections. I guess that's a way to look at it. I don't know. I don't know why I even care. I'm literally just trying to run out the clock while I wait. Oh, thank you for the dysentery. The last person traveling the Oregon Trail, last man alive, and he got dysentery. What are the odds? All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty fun. 437 days is a little on the slow side for me. Could have started off somewhere else and might have been better off. 52% cure progress, 53,116 points, and 2 stars. I think ultimately the 1 trillion population did slow me down a little bit. I wasn't able to use the extra DNA as effectively as maybe I would have hoped, aside from things like kind of slowing down some of the cure. But, like, yeah, maybe we should have held on to points and just really ramped up that lethality. We just got a late infection into Greenland. That's the real killer here. If we had gotten a little bit luckier and had an earlier boat, it would have been fine. But otherwise, there we go. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a fine scenario. It just changes up one number. Ultimately doesn't change the game in any meaningful way. But it's kind of fun to see big number go up and think that I just killed, you know, almost the entirety of my plaguing career combined in one video. Yep. If there is, in fact, a video game hell, I am going there. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.